This is happening. Hi, Dani.
Hi, James.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
I haven't seen you. It's been a while.
It's been a while. I actually don't remember last time I seen you.
In person? I don't either.
Maybe it was when I dropped that off.
That's right. Oh, yeah, it's here. That's
Has it
so
been
fun.
that long?
I don't know. I thought it was it's either that, which we will get into, or we hung out at Ryan Hicks's house once. Was that pre-COVID?
Yeah.
That was pre-COVID. This was during COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then it was probably this. Unless we ran into each other at a
we used to see each other a lot. I
Yeah.
used to come to a lot
Tiger
of your shows. Tiger was like my favorite spot to be every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday. I went every single Thursday for a very long time.
And your laugh was like that whole show is like the most supportive, awesome, loving audience every week. It was craziness.
Connor built up a really
oh my gosh
great show.
And here's a fun little note, because I talked to Connor. Connor Loftman, he runs the Bad Bad shows up in LA, but apparently the current owners of that space that used to be Tiger reached out to him, were like, hey, we heard you used to have like a great show here.
Really?
And so there's talks. Talks. You know what? I don't even know if I was supposed to say that.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, in San Diego, people don't, if you're not from here, even if you are, but Tiger was a bar that's North Park?
I think
Where's
that's
that?
considered North Park.
Okay. And every Thursday there was a show it was the only outdoor show that actually like worked, but it didn't feel outdoors.
No,
you know?
it wasn't too outdoors. It had a cover.
Sure.
But you could hear the rain on it.
Yeah, you could hear the rain on it. And the walls were pallets. So that's what I mean. Like it was open air, but sort of a room. But it was 110 people every Thursday at 8:00 that were just so on board for anything. Mm-hmm. And as a comic, it was my favorite room. Ryan and I used to talk about the fact of like, it was the most comfortable place to just go. It was the only place I would go with nothing. I would just feel comfortable talking.
That's true. I remember that.
Yeah. There'd be times to just show up and talk. It was the only place I was ever comfortable being high performing, because I don't do that.
Tell the audience.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple times. There was one time that really kind of, I don't want to say got away from me, but I remember I had like a really rough week. It was right after my split. And I think I had just dropped my daughter off at her mom's, and I was like, I was like subletting this bedroom. I didn't even have like a real place to live yet. And I remember I like went there with the intent of like, you have nothing to do. You are doing nothing. I picked up food on the way home. I was like, you are going to go home. You are going to watch some Lord of the Rings. You are going to get high, and you are going to eat some food and go to bed. You have zero responsibility. And I sat down, or I should say I got my food out, and I packed a bowl, and I got really high. And then my phone rings, and Connor's like, hey, man, my headliner just bailed. Can you come headline Tiger? And I'm like, hey, man, I'm really high. I don't know if I could do that. And he's like, I was like, but if you can't find anyone, let me know. And he's like, okay, I got 3 other people to call. I was like, okay, just like, if you can't, I got you.
Yeah.
And he called me back, I don't know, 15 minutes later. And this is like 30 minutes to showtime or something. And he's like, hey, no one can do it. I was like, I'll see you soon.
Well, something I love about that is just that like Connor's the type of guy that you want to show up for, even if you're ridiculously high and you thought that you didn't want to have any responsibilities. Right.
And if it was any other venue, I would have been like, I'm really sorry, I can't do that. I've got something going on. Mm-hmm. But because it was that venue, I was like, I know it's safe. It's safe.
Yeah.
Everyone there is there, like, I can't even explain it, but compared to other rooms, like, it didn't matter what you did, what you talked about. Like, they were just like on board. They were like, hey, this is somebody doing a thing. Like, let's be supportive and kind. And it was so weird because it was a very eclectic group of people.
Yes, that's true.
And there were a lot of return people. Like, there were a lot of people that returned, but like half the room wasn't, maybe, or a third of the room would be.
I feel like it was often very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I went every week because it was safe.
Yeah.
I started going to comedy shows because I was just going through it. I was
You mean life? Wait, you were being a human and that shit was hard?
It was really hard. I was going through the hard thing.
Yeah.
And I was starting to establish okay, who am I aside from all this other stuff that had happened? And what is it that I like? And what is it that brings me joy? And, what does feel safe?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just exploring San Diego. I've been here since 2004. But I was exploring it in this brand new way. And I was going everywhere alone. It was very intentional. I was doing things alone, which I think is... Not everyone likes to do that. I personally always love to do things alone, but this was
it's the way to grow.
Yes, and I'm that is a huge priority in my life. That's always been a huge priority. I very much am about growth for myself, for others, for my plants, my cat.
Yeah.
And I'm really okay with discomfort for the sake of growth.
Now, were you always okay with discomfort?
I mean,
did something happen?
I mean, I think I just remember most of my life being okay with being awkward or people not thinking the same as me or being different. Where
did you grow up?
I grew up in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I just always felt that what I remember is that I always wanted to better myself. I don't remember a time.
Where does that come from?
I have no idea.
Were your parents that kind of people? Were they?
I don't. I think that it's it's easy to be set in certain ways. Obviously,
yeah.
Especially once you are set.
Once everyone tells you who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where that came from. I know that my father was always really encouraging of just reading, and looking into lots of different things that maybe we don't know about. So perhaps that was a piece of the curiosity in me.
And that from a young age, were you a reader your whole life? Or were you always?
I love to read. Yeah.
Okay.
I read on screens more than hardcover books now. But working on that
Kindle or your phone?
My phone or computer.
Okay.
I'm constantly taking in information, whether it's audiobooks. I don't have Kindle, so it's YouTube audiobooks.
Okay.
I don't know.
Hey, whatever. If the word's going in, that's what counts.
Yeah, podcasts. I really love listening to people talk about their struggles and their successes and everything. My mom also, she immigrated here from Ethiopia. She's Armenian, and so she came here when she was 20, I think. So I feel her background influenced me to just be more open to different things because she was always introducing me to different things. I would eat different food than a lot of
your friends.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just oh, okay. Well, so I think that maybe my household was probably just different in lots of unique ways that I just felt comfortable being different, I guess. Yeah. And I also, I feel very deeply. I always have. And so I think that, and I allow myself to feel deeply.
Have you always? Was that encouraged?
I don't know if it was encouraged, but
they experienced all my feels.
It's not to say that I've never suppressed my emotions.
No, we all do when we feel it's necessary or you're not safe to express.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's definitely been times of that. I think it's just more of it's who I am. So I can't not be that way. Mm-hmm. And I embraced it early on.
Do you have siblings?
I have a sister.
Older or younger?
Older.
Okay, so you're the youngest?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if because I'm the youngest.
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay. They're always listening. So youngest, how much older?
She's 3 years older than me.
Okay. Were you guys close?
No.
Not at all?
Not really. I mean, there was attempts to be close. We're currently not close, I would say. Mm. Yeah.
And even through childhood, it was was the 3 years you were just far enough in age that we're not hanging out, we don't have the same friends, nothing like that? Or you're the annoying little sister?
I definitely was treated that way, but I was not. I mean, I don't know, maybe I was annoying, maybe I'm still annoying, but yeah, I think, there was struggles with that. Yeah. but
which probably also was like, you know what, I'm going to be me.
You know, it was
she like that too, though? Was she emotional? Was she okay being different, or was she trying to fit in to some narrative with her group or social structure that you were like, I don't know, were you different in that way?
I'm actually not sure. I think that she, in some respects, knew who she was and like was very bold about that, and that always really inspired me. Like I always wanted to be like her to some degree, you know, like I thought she was cool. I thought she, you know, she was beautiful. She was intelligent. She was cool. She made people laugh. She was really funny. You know, like sometimes I look back and I'm like, well, maybe that wasn't that funny, you know, but she always made people laugh, you know? So I think maybe, you know, like when I found Tiger, I mean, because I was going to lots of different comedy shows in San Diego, because there's a lot of comedy shows.
Tons.
In San Diego.
Yeah, especially then.
Yeah.
Like now they're back. They're pretty much back. Like there's a lot going on. But for some reason, it felt like around that time, it was just like booming here.
I feel like I was going to like 4 or 5 a week.
Where would you go? Where else were you going?
There was one in PB.
The Wood?
What was it?
The Wood? Or it was like Red's Saloon?
It was, you went there once when I was there. Ryan did it a few times too. Maybe it was Red Saloon, something like that. I can't remember what the place was called because I would only go there for comedy. Yeah. Josh.
Yeah, Josh Nelson. So that's the one. Yeah. Every Wednesday at 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go to that one. I would go to the one in University Heights. What was that one called? It's been so long since I've been to it.
That was a Comedy Heights show, I think.
Yeah, that one was great. I really enjoyed that one. I tried to consistently go to that one, but when I found Connor's at Tiger, it just, I mean, like Connor knows a lot of amazing humans.
Yeah, he does have like his circle is very just fascinating people.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that he gave a lot of like newer comics opportunities to go there too.
Yeah,
and he just is really silly and inviting and like very loving, and so I immediately just felt very good there, and so that just became the place where I was like, well, I want to be here every week. And I think
you were.
And I was. Well, and I think after like the second show or something that I had gone to, I think Connor introduced himself to me and invited me to his like house party after.
Yeah, because there was always a hang afterwards.
Yeah. And, you know, and then we just became really good friends. And he would always walk me to my car afterwards, make sure I got there safe. And we created this little ritual where he would walk me to my car and we would find a tree and we would hug it together.
And on that note, your Instagram handle and your philosophy for life, it seems, is
this girl hugs trees.
Because this girl hugs trees.
I do.
I've hugged trees with you.
Yeah.
Where did hugging trees start for you? How did that even...
I don't know when it started. Like I was actually trying to think about that recently. The name "This Girl Hugs Trees" was a blog that I started when I was traveling, probably like 12 plus years ago. I was just, you know, kind of meandering. I was like, well, maybe people care about what I'm doing and they'll want to read about it. And I think like 3 people did, but
3 people.
I remember being really confused. Like, what should I call this? What should I call this? And then I have no idea how.
You were hugging a tree while you were thinking about it. Yeah,
totally possible that's what happened. But I was trying to think like when did I start doing it? You know, because people will talk about like tree huggers, whatever. Like I've heard that my whole life,
and it's like never kind of a good. It's never used in like, I don't know if I've ever heard it really used in like, oh, this is my friend, total tree hugger, great person. It's always like, freaking tree huggers.
Well, like, I hope that like I am changing that dialogue. I feel like people do actually introduce me sometimes be like, she hugs trees. Yeah. And they mean it as a compliment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yes, I remember I was nannying for these kids and I would do certain things. I don't even know what I would do. I would just be myself and they would call me a tree hugger. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? You guys aren't hugging?
Like, do you want to go hug them with me? But I don't know like the origin of me hugging trees actually. But like every time I think about that, I think about when I went to visit my good friend Eugenia in Pennsylvania, and she just lives like in the forest, you know? And so everywhere that we would go, they're just everywhere, and I can't hug all of them. But the good thing that I think about now,
I want to.
Yeah, I do want to. But the good thing is that you know, they're all connected, and like having a conversation underneath So if I'm hugging one, I can be like,
it's the energy's flowing.
yeah.
Which is crazy that we know that now. Like we know that like literally they're all connected and talking and passing nutrients and information and yeah.
Like the mycelial network underneath as well. Like it's all connected. I was thinking about that yesterday. Yesterday I was very sad because the storms of I love rain. I don't mind the chaos of nature or anything like that. Like I think that rain is really purifying, and especially in San Diego where we don't get it very often. Yeah. It's like a pause. It's kind of like a reset, but I was going on a walk in my neighborhood and I saw this beautiful, big, beautiful tree just in the road. And I'm like,
it had fallen over.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And then I, trace it back to its roots, and its roots had just literally been pulled out.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know what to do. I'm just like beside myself. I'm like, started crying. I just felt really sad, and I'm like looking at all of its friends around, like, I'm so sorry that this is happening. Like
you lost Kevin. Kevin fell down.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about what his name was. Maybe it was a she. I don't know.
Could have been, yeah.
Either way, I was very sad, and I, and I spent some time with it, and made sure to like spend some time with its friends nearby and just kind of like share in the mourning of that loss, because that felt just deep.
Tell me something. If you were in a forest, if you were visiting your friend and you came across a tree that fell, do you think it would have hit you the same way?
I do. I mean, like, I don't know for sure. When I see a tree, maybe it was because it was like the closeness. Is that what you mean, of like my own backyard kind of? Or
I just wonder, because like a tree getting blown over is a natural occurrence. A tree getting struck by lightning, a tree getting sick or something. Like these things happen in nature. And if you're in a forest where you're literally surrounded by thousands of trees and one goes down, it's a less, I don't know, it sounds weird to say this, but a less significant loss. And maybe even loss isn't the word, because that tree's going to fall, it's going to decompose and then turn back into the soil and help and da-da-da-da.
Nourishment.
Where when you're walking through a neighborhood and you're like, oh, there's this one beautiful tree and now it's gone. Where like, this thing's been here, this tree might have been here before these houses were here.
Yeah.
And then we built around it or something.
Totally, yeah.
And now that's gone and it's in a road, so it's laying on concrete. It's not like it's going to like become one with the earth again. And I just wonder if that plays into it, because I've definitely had, I have family that has a place up in like Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere. And it's just acres of huge pine trees and stuff. And it's like, and I have definitely gone and just ran through the forest and spent an afternoon running around. And
good.
Yeah. I mean, it was everyone else. I was there visiting, my aunt was there, and everyone like left, and I was the only one at the house. And this is a weird way to put it, but I don't know, whatever. I just got naked and ran around in the forest.
That's amazing.
Because it was the only.
I wish we could do that.
The only thing I did have on was like those little like Vibram 5-finger. Because I was like, I'm running, like there's stuff here to step on, and I'm not used to running around in the forest. So I probably looked hilarious in like these little shoes and no clothes, and I just ran around in the forest, and I laid in the, like there was a pasture, and I laid in the pasture, and then I ran and jumped in the lake and just like spent probably almost an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just walking, running, jumping over logs, jumping in the river, getting out, running back through the forest.
By yourself?
And just by myself, just being in it. And it was the kind of thing, and I think the reason why is you would see, like, there's logs everywhere in the forest that have fallen. There are limbs that have fallen. There are whole trees that have been decomposing for 25, like, these pine trees are like 80 feet tall. Like, they've been there for so long. And then you see one that's down, and it's like this giant, it's huge, and it's laying there, and half of it's like decomposing. If you go kind of pick at it, it's like kind of falling apart. And there's part of you that's like, yeah, that's the process. Like it does that, and it turns into this, and then it's dirt, and then, ants move in, and then they're connected, and that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I think, like there's definitely that awareness, like, okay, well, everything I don't know. I believe everything happens for a reason, and sometimes it's hard to be in that truth in the moment when
Right.
it's happening, of course. But like that is an ultimate truth that I've held for as long as I can remember. So there's that, and like recognizing this is part of the cycle of life. Yes, this does happen. I think it's just, I think maybe because it was in this neighborhood, and perhaps there's this recognition that maybe I was the only one that was going to stop and like mourn it. And I don't know if that's true or not.
Right.
But the way that I felt it so deeply, like I don't know if I would feel it exactly the same in a forest, because like you're saying, like it has so much to fall into.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it was on a cemented road.
You know, some guy's coming with a chainsaw.
Well, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure that someone already had, because I think it was so big that it was in both lanes of a very small road.
Gotcha.
That there were, I was confused at first. I was like, I thought that someone had chopped this tree down and just like left it in the road. And I was very, very upset because there were, marked areas, and there was, like the white blood of the tree. I don't know what it's, and so like I was like,
yeah.
And then and then when I walked back and realized like, no, the whole thing had come out, and they probably just needed to do that for the safety of people being able to
use
go through. Yeah. So yeah, I guess there is that difference of the mourning, I suppose. It's sad nonetheless. I think when I see it in the forest, I usually don't see him as fresh. I'm trying to think like the difference between when I see it fresh versus like, oh, it's already, it's happened. Like
it's part of the forest.
Yeah. You can already see the process of the change happening versus.
There's moss covering a side. There's it's already started to be brought back into the.
Yeah. There's already mushrooms growing on. Like it's a whole new part of the ecosystem. Whereas this was like, it's just being removed from the ecosystem. Someone's going to come, chop it up. Hopefully they'll utilize it in a, in a efficient way. Like they won't just throw it away.
It'll be mulched somewhere on a city landscape. Probably. The city probably does. They mulch the stuff like that.
That's fun.
Do you feel, so this sadness that hit you, one, yes, the tree fell. But do you feel that was, excuse is the wrong word, but a opportunity for you to feel? Like, was there other stuff going on? Was there anything where like, because I've started to realize where I'm like, oh, like I think being a parent has maybe changed that in me, where I will have moments where I get sad because of something, and then I kind of realize that there's more going on than just this thing.
There's always more.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
All the time.
Sometimes I love to cry. Well, I don't know, love. Like I'm very comfortable crying. Like I don't stop myself from crying. But sometimes it's like there's a lot to cry about all the time when we think about like not just our own personal stuff, but like
just the whole world. Yeah, there's a lot going on that we all know is sort of happening. Yeah. And by sort of, I mean it's happening.
Yeah.
And we're like, but I gotta get gas and go to the grocery store.
Feed my cat. Feed myself and like go back to sleep, wake up, all that. So there's definitely times where I'm like, I just fucking don't have time to cry. And I can't right now.
I don't fucking have time to cry right now.
And it's not that I think that that's healthy for me because I usually don't suppress that. Like I cry in public. I don't care about that.
Was this the last time you cried?
Yesterday, yeah.
Was with the tree?
Yeah. I don't think I've cried today.
That's a comfort with crying. You're like, listen, it happens enough. I'm not even sure if I did it today, which is beautiful. And I think I don't think most people have that. And as long as it's not like debilitating, because I think there's a spectrum of like, no, I'm feeling and releasing my emotions. And then also of like, oh, I'm actually just very unhappy and there's a problem and I'm always crying.
Yeah,
Which I think if you're more one, you're probably less likely to be the other. Like if you've always felt emotions very strong, I'm sure you're a human, so you've I want to say suffered. You've experienced depression, you've experienced depression, anxiety, all the feels, and all the I don't know symptoms, but like all of the stuff. Is that something that you've dealt with throughout your life?
What's the question?
Like, I don't even know. Like depression, anxiety, sadness, things like that. Where like, is that something you've dealt with, and do you feel that? I don't. First, we'll start there. Is that something you've had to deal with in your life, like mental health stuff?
Yeah, like yesterday, I was telling my partner, like I feel depressed, and it's not like. I mean, I have a very beautiful life. I have a very full life. I have a very abundant life. I get to, share my life with someone that I love and who, like, we have a very reciprocal relationship that's based in mutual respect and desire for each other's growth.
Mm-hmm. And you're both artists, so you're both expressive.
Yeah. And so we get to, we work together essentially. Like we're doing our own thing, but we're also doing a shared thing. And yeah, so I mean, there's that. Like, that's wonderful. And I got that because I was willing to go through the stuff beforehand to like work through my shit to be ready for that and to like know what I want, know what I don't want, know what my standards are, know what my expectations are, etc.
How long did it take you to figure that out? How old were you when that kind of came about? And what do you think really got you there? Like you mentioned before, you traveled a bunch alone.
Yeah, I've done a lot of traveling alone, mostly in the United States. I've done, some other travel, but I've done a lot of state travel, just like get in my car and just go and sleep in my car, like all sorts of
Hell
stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, so what was your question? I feel like there were 5.
There were. Yeah. I'm all over the place. You are, back to like depression and feeling.
I have, so I have a beautiful life and, like where did I want to go? I
screwed it up because I started talking.
No, you didn't screw it up. I love questions. I'm like, I just want to answer all of them to make sure. I have a beautiful life. I'm really grateful for all the things I have, but I was telling my partner yesterday, I feel really depressed and it got spurred from the tree. Right. And it was, it's like, there's a lot of things that are outside of my control that I feel very deeply about. And it's like, I can come to, like, my mind is always trying to make sense of things. I think all of our minds are. I just very much care about things making sense. Like if something doesn't make sense, I'm going to ask lots of questions. I'm going to research. I'm going to spend way too much time looking into something
that you have no control over and you can't change.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then also it's just helpful for me to make things make sense. But there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, okay, well, I understand why this, and this, but still this action or this behavior or this whatever, it still doesn't make sense in like who I am as a human. So I think that when I'm going through a moment of recognizing the things that I don't have any control over, it can be very debilitating. It can be very, like, especially if it's a perpetual thing, like, this Gus, my partner, and we just like have a similar conversation over and over about certain things, like on a personal level, it's like the rent in San Diego. Who the fuck can afford it?
Right.
Like we're very abundant and yet we somehow are still not able to figure out how to like have the house that we want that actually supports us. And then it
feels almost impossible here.
Yeah. And then at the same time, it's like, well, like look at what we do have compared to those that
have nothing.
Exactly. Or like I was watching the This Fool show by Chris Estrada because we were just visiting Connor and he watched the first episode with us because we didn't know that was even a thing. And there's this episode where this man is like stealing the recycling cans from his family and his mom stole those from work to make sure that like she could get some extra cash for them, and he's like, why are you stealing that from me? Like, I'm broke. And, the man that's stealing is like, but I'm poor. You're broke, but I'm poor. Like that difference. Right. It's like just a pretty small difference, but also a very large difference. So it's like, that's what my brain does. It like goes through the whole fucking thing all over. And then, can I say?
Yeah, fuck it. Okay. Fucking fuck.
I think we probably already said, but all of a sudden, so I think that one of the things that gets to me the most with things like depression is the things that are outside of my control.
Yeah.
You know, because I think I've gotten to a point where it's easy to say like, okay, well, I've tried this hard with these things in my personal life, and I realize, okay, I just don't have any control over that. So I'm going to let that go. And other things where I'm like, I do have control over that. I'm going to do something about it, or I'm going to acknowledge that for these specific reasons I can't at the moment, or I'm choosing not to, but I know that I have control over it. You know, I think that like differentiating that in our brain is helpful or important, right?
Well, because again, it's making sense of why am I still behaving like this?
Exactly.
Oh, because you haven't really chosen to change.
Yeah. Or even, you know, like why is my back still hurting? Because earlier you said like, you know, did the tears represent something that's like bigger? I recently was experiencing a lot of sciatic pain, and I haven't experienced that lately. I have in my past, you know, but this was like debilitating. It was bad. It was waking me up in the middle of the night. I wasn't able to sleep. It was, you know, it was not fun. Pain is not fun. It like destroys your brain in a way where you like can't be nice, and you can't.
I've never heard that. It's a good way to put it. It is when you're in pain, it's hard to maintain nice.
Yeah, because you're not clear. Like you know, you can't answer things clearly when you're in pain. And I'd say that that's true for physical and emotional pain, right? You know, but physical, it's like you can't ignore it. You could try to take something for it, I suppose, but I'm someone that doesn't. I'm like, nope, that is probably going to harm me more down the line, so I'm not going to do that. And it also doesn't like go to the root.
Right.
And
it's not solving the problem, it's just masking.
Yeah. You know, so I was expressing to someone in a meeting that I was experiencing that, and they were like, look into this book by Dr. Sarno, How to Heal Your Back. Something, mind-body connection. And so I listened to the book on tape, and you know, he's talking about how he believes that all back and neck pain are related to, I think he called it like repressed anger. I mean, like other emotions too, but like primarily the repression of anger. And that it's like our brain, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like it moves it into the physical body rather than like having to deal with it. So like if you don't deal with your anger and you're repressing it and you're like, no, I'm fine, you know, whatever, or you're being the nice person and you're not acknowledging your feelings, then eventually it's going to come through pain in your body because it distracts you. The pain distracts you from being able to deal with the emotional pain. Because again, like we're saying, it's like you can't go there if you're in physical pain. So it's almost like a defense mechanism.
I feel like you just said all that, and I'm just connecting dots that lead to my back. Because I've been in back pain. I've had back pain on and off my whole life, which sort of makes sense to that. And then also recently, there's been like a certain thing that happened that I have been angry about. I've been angry, and it's pissed me off. And it's the kind of thing where like there's part of me, it's like it falls under the like you can't control that, but I'm angry and it's not fair and shit like that. And I don't know, now I'm wondering like how, because everything you say I'm turning into me. I'm making everything about me, but it just made sense where I was like, I wonder, because the timeline lines up to when there was a moment where I got like very angry. And since that time, I have had this back pain that's like coming, never has left, but has been coming and going at different levels since like right around this time that this incident happened that really made me upset.
That makes sense to me.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. One of the things I did yesterday when I recognized that I was sad, you know, after the tree, and then realized I'm also angry, you know, was I just started declaring what I was angry about. So that way, as it was coming up, at least, you know, it wasn't like getting ingrained somewhere in me, right? Because, you know, there's that book, The Body Keeps the Score, you know, which is more like trauma, where your body holds the memory of trauma. even if we don't remember it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking put this in my body. I'm just gonna say it, and like, I didn't necessarily have a witness. I don't know. Like, after I listened to the book, I was like, so what do I do now? Like, I'm very proactive with my healing. I'm very proactive with, like,
who do I need to tell?
Like, what do okay. That's so funny because I'm telling Gus about the book after it because, it's what happened into my body. I'm like, I need you to know what I'm learning all the time. He's like, okay. He's so receptive. It's wonderful. And he offered the space for me to be able to say all of the things, all of the anger that I've had. Yeah. And I was like, I'm mad about this. And he like offers the humor. He's like, are you mad because, he says like something silly. And I'm like, yeah, actually I am mad about that. And so he created that space for me to be able to be witnessed. And I was like, is that all I'm supposed to do? Like, I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do next? I don't know. And I shared that with my best friend. And she's like, well, I think in the past, like, you've learned new information and you haven't needed to know exactly what to do with it right away. It just, like, does the thing, like you're saying, like, it starts connecting the dots and then it'll bring you to the point where the thing you're supposed to do is presented to you. Yeah, but I think the first stage in anything is just acknowledgement, right? Right. Like, and I'm angry.
That's a skill, and that's something, again, like parenting. It's I've had. I mean, my daughter's 5, and there's moments where it was yesterday. She got frustrated with me, and when was it yesterday? It was 2 days ago. But she got frustrated with me, and in what started out as playful, she started hitting my butt. Oh. And then she just kept hitting my butt. And I was like, and this was happening while I'm like, hey, we need to get our shoes on. We have somewhere to be. We need to go. It's getting late. Da 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 da. And it turned into, and it was like sort of a giggle, but also a, and then I was like, hey, like, please stop hitting me. Like, I don't want to be hit. She's like, and I was like, hey, and I like dropped down. I was like, hey, what is this play? Are you playing or are you hitting me? Like, are you angry about something? Are you mad because we have to leave right now? Do you want to, like, is that what this is? And she was, and then all of a sudden it went from, because I was keeping her from being behind me. All of a sudden she's kind of doing this, like, to like my arm or my chest. And I'm like, hey. Now you're just hitting me.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here? And she just would, and I was like, hey, you can always tell me what you're feeling. You, like, hitting me is not okay. Mm-hmm. That's a boundary I'm not allowing you to do. You are not to hit people. That. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I said, but you having this feeling, like, what is it? And it's something where I'm like, I don't think anyone in my entire childhood ever turned to me and was like, what are you feeling?
Nope.
No, it was like, don't sass back. Don't hit your brother. Don't do that. No. Da-da-da-da-da. Stop it. Blah, blah, blah. You're bad. Mm-hmm. Like, something's wrong. You need to stop this thing you're doing that's wrong. And it's just like, you have a kid and all of a sudden you're like, well, shit, I got to teach you the shit I learned when I was like 30, but I'm going to try to teach you to when you're 5. So you're so far ahead of me as you grow that, like, you have these tools that nobody fucking taught me. And that's, I don't blame my parents. Like, they came from a world that was even worse than what I got. I got tons of love and support, but still their version of, like, you're bad right now, stop being bad, where I'm like, oh, you're doing this thing. There's something's up.
Yeah.
Like, let's discuss it. And so for you to have that skill, when did you acquire that skill of, like, I can identify what I'm feeling? How did you get there?
I don't think I had it when I was young. I knew that I felt things. I don't think that I was encouraged to feel my feelings until probably like mid-20s.
And who did that even?
I don't know like where it started, but I have this memory of my friend Heather like actually listening to my feelings when I was having, like a crying fit. And she's like, put your head in my lap. Let me, let me play with your hair, which is like one of my most favorite comforting things.
There's
in the
nothing better
world,
than a good
you
head
know?
scratch.
Yeah.
Hair play. Yeah.
Yeah, and she just, listened and didn't judge me. I feel like even though I was comfortable being emotional, I didn't feel comfortable with others experiencing my emotions, if that makes sense.
Did you feel like it was a burden to them?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also that they didn't understand it because they didn't understand their own emotions, which I think is still very true for most
A lot
humans.
of, yeah.
Like even like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I do know why. Like, I think I create a safe space for people to feel their emotions.
Yeah, you have that
Because-
vibe.
Thank you. And sometimes people will, cry to me very validly, like it doesn't take much to have a valid experience to cry, and
I felt it coming out a few minutes ago. I was like, this is okay.
and they'll apologize. And I'm like, why are
Yeah.
you apologizing? It's like, this is the most like pure thing that you can do is just like emote and let it come out of your eyes.
Yeah.
It's
It's meant to do this.
exactly like our bodies were designed perfectly, I think. And
Yeah.
like, if that's what they're doing.
It's supposed to be doing it. Like
Yeah.
that is the literal emotional release.
Yeah. I have surrounded myself with a lot of, I guess like emotionally literate, emotionally intelligent people in more recent years.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, in more recent years where they too are deep feelers, or I mean, I think we all are. It's just some maybe are able to do it more readily than others, or like their nature is more entwined in that than others,
And it's tough because I'm sure you run into people, you feel people are like, oh, like you're just either pushing it down or numb, or you've pushed it down for so long that it's just like, I'm shocked at like, I'm shocked at how many people I know where I don't think they've had a cry in a very long time.
And I think that's really sad for men. I feel like men are encouraged the more than women.
For sure.
Like it definitely happens.
Our whole lives.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Man up. Don't, why are you crying? And it's something like, even with Daisy, I have to be careful because I'll ask her, she'll be crying. It might have been yesterday after that incident where she, and she kind of got upset because I was like, let's identify this. Like, are you angry with me? Are you frustrated with me? And she kind of started crying, which again, she's 5. Has no clue the regulation, what she's feeling. Like, she's still learning to put words to it. And like, thank God, I feel like I'm like, she's learning now, which is great. But I remember being like, it went on long enough. And then I caught myself being like, okay, come on, in my head. And it halfway came out. I caught myself being like I was literally halfway through the sentence of like, this is enough. And then I was like, actually, it's not. If you're still going, like, but why are you still going? And that's okay. But let's figure out why. Because let's sit in it, and I will hold you. We can cry together. I can hold you while you cry. I love you. Like, I think part of it was, she knew she was hitting me. I know she doesn't want to be hitting me, but she doesn't know how to express herself. And so this is all I've got is like, I'm angry or I'm frustrated with you. And now I feel like I did something wrong, which I just, which is hard because hitting is wrong. We shouldn't hit, but you're also expressing yourself. So we should figure that out, but also don't fucking hit me, because that's not okay. And it was actually an interesting moment because it was the first time I was like, hey, here's the deal with hitting. We don't hit people unless they're hurting you. And then if they are, you hit them as hard as you fucking can. I didn't say fucking to her, but I was like, listen, if you really feel the need to hit someone because they are hurting you and they are crossing your boundaries and you cannot get away from them, then like, this is not hitting. You hit them as hard as you can in the face. Like, and I'm like, it's weird I'm telling my 5-year-old how to hit people, but also when the time is right, you pick up the heaviest thing you can hold and you hit them in the face.
It reminds me of your cat joke.
Give
a young boy a cat.
The cat.
Because a cat will teach you.
Yeah, what's appropriate and what's not with a cat. Yeah, it's a subtle line that if you cross it, a cat's gonna mess you up.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, my cat. Like, I am so nice to my cat, and she
is a cat.
She's still a tiny predator living in my home.
She's a murder machine that lives in your home.
She's so sweet, but she just loves to play, and she loves to rough play because of Gus. And he knows it, and he keeps doing it, you know, and he's like,
but he likes it.
He likes it. She likes it. It's
but then the cat comes to you and he's like, hey, or she's like, hey. And you're like, no, not over here.
She'll just turn on an instant is the thing with her. It's like, we'll be having a nice time. And then it's like, fuck, you know? Yeah, it's like once something heals, new one comes in.
She's like, anyway, I see that your hands look healthy now.
Yeah. Did Daisy ever, sorry, can I say her name?
Sure.
Okay.
I've said it before.
Okay. Can she, did she get to a point where she was able to verbalize anything?
Not really. Not in that moment. It went from the frustration, the playful hitting, to all of a sudden realizing this is not playful. You're frustrated or something. To me trying to work it out and talk about it. And also it was late. She was tired. That doesn't help. And it was like we were leaving. We were down at our neighbor's house. We had dinner, and she was playing with the kids that live there. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, we got to go. Like, it's bedtime's in 15 minutes, and we got to do the routine. And we're already going to be late to bed, which is fine because it's like, I guess that wasn't last night, whichever night it was. But, like, it was like there were factors involved that were like, you're already tired. We've had a long day. And now, like I said, it went from playful sort of to now we're identifying that you're angry and frustrated, to me trying to talk to you about it, to you probably feeling like you're doing something wrong because you are, because you're hitting and I'm not cool with it and I'm going to stop you. And like when you keep hitting me and I grab your arm, now she's upset because like you grabbed my arm and now I can't move. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to let you hit me. And then she's like, well, you're holding me. And I'm like, yeah, because you're hitting me, but we can talk about, you know. So it kind of went through those phases to now I'm crying. And so it was never like, I'm angry because we left. But I mean, I tried to identify what it could be to hopefully give her the vocabulary for next time, maybe.
I think that's really intelligent. And like you said, she's 5. So who knows when she'll be able to articulate it, because I learned like in my 20s and there are people in their 50s that still haven't figured it out, you know, but like at least you're giving her the tools.
I hope.
Now, I think that you are.
It's so, God, parenting.
I mean, that's a whole thing, you know, that I know nothing about.
Do you want kids?
I don't. I used to.
I don't know why that was so funny. It was such a sweet way to be like, absolutely fucking not.
I love kids. They're so
They're the best.
I think I have, you know, being a very emotional human my whole life, and being what I consider really good at taking care of others, I've kind of like been put into that role my whole life, even in situations where that was not appropriate for me to be the one taking care of others. And so
Is that like childhood stuff?
Yeah, you know, so I think like several years back, I kind of just realized, you know, I've played the mother role a lot, and I just don't really feel like I need to do it in that way.
Gotcha.
And so, I think that my creativity gets a lot of that energy now.
That makes sense.
That would have potentially gone elsewhere.
And also, if you've been taking care of, like, if you've been taking care of others, there is at some point it feels weird to say, but like it's okay to just take care of yourself now.
Yeah, I was recently thinking about that. Just like, I wish that I would have known that it's okay to take care of yourself first. I mean, we get all the, you know, like the cliches, like put your own oxygen mask on before, you know, like on the airplanes and whatnot. But like for real.
But you know what's funny about that is they say that to the adults. The pamphlet on the airplane doesn't tell the kid to like, hey, just so you know, like at some point you start putting your own oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You know, I think that I did not know that I was not responsible for others. for most
Can
of
we
my
talk
life.
about that? Can we touch on it?
Sure.
And to keep it as broad as you want, but like, how old were you when you had to take care of the emotional well-being? And I'm guessing that's what we're kind of talking about, the emotional well-being of adults.
Yeah. Like as far back as I can remember, honestly, it's like, I think that, again, being like an emotionally intelligent human, I keep doing air quotes. It's funny. I don't talk like that normally. But
For some reason, you feel like you should. And also, like, why is that a thing? Emotionally intelligent, like, that's a thing. Just say the thing. But it feels like you should be like an emotionally intelligent, like, right, everybody?
Yeah.
But also, like, fucking emotionally intelligent human is a thing that we all should strive to be.
Yeah. I think that I've been told a lot in my life from a very young age. Like, you're so mature for your age, or, you're so intelligent or wise for your age. And even though that is nice, it also, I think, programmed others to think like, oh, well, you can handle this then.
Yeah. It comes with responsibility that you're like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
That's something, again, as a parent, it's something I like. Daisy's a very intelligent kid, and I like to tell her that she is, but it's more like, no, you're capable. Like, you're capable. But also it's scary because like she's been super talkative her whole life and like very clear communicator. Like she's been an amazing communicator since she was like 2. And to the point where like she's 5 and we'll be around other people's kids and there's like a 9-year-old and she's like out talking the kid. And just how she can express herself and what she'll put boundaries up and whatever. And then like part of me has to be like, that's amazing. But there's like, you got to be careful because it assigns this responsibility of what you're capable of. And then others think, oh, they can handle that. And it's like, she's 5. You have to remember she's still 5.
Yeah. And I also recognize, like, I'm thinking about it just now as you're describing, like, what she'll potentially eventually deal with, is when I was, like, I remember even in elementary school, high school, college years, all of that, like, I had friends that would treat me as their therapists. Like, I don't think they knowingly did that, but they definitely at some points would be like, this was like a therapy call, and.
But you also had the intellect to probably be a good bounce board for them and like have insight into their emotions and the things that were going on. So it was like you had the skills.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like I had the skills.
But you didn't sign up for this shit.
I didn't sign up for it. But I did. Like I allowed myself to
because you care.
No, yeah, I cared, and I thought that like if somebody came to me, that it was my responsibility to, even to my detriment. Like I didn't cognitively.
No,
know. But once I did start to see that pattern,
and that started in the home. That started there.
Yeah.
I learned something years ago during my first marriage. There was a family counselor that came. I had 2 stepdaughters, and we took this class as like a family. The St. Pete or Pinellas County, whatever, like we'll send the person to your house it was like an 8-week program. They come and they work with everybody, and then with the kids and the parents, and then they send the kids off. They kind of go play in a room and then just work with the parents. And it's pretty much like, hey, how not to raise assholes. It's kind of like, is what I summed it up to be.
Title.
It should be. It was kind of what it was. But one of the biggest things that I learned is that apparently whoever the youngest, like each kid looks up and feels responsible. So first kid looks up and like, oh, mom and dad's happiness and whatever, if there's fighting or whatever the stressors or the things are, I'm sort of responsible to fix things and whatever. And then the next sibling takes on the parents and the older sibling. And then if there's another one, which is where I am, I'm third kid, I look up and I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure all these assholes are happy. Like it's everything that goes on above me is now on me to maintain the happy, the cohesion, the emotions, like everything that's going on up there is on my shoulders. Wow. And so I wonder if like you felt that because like was your, with your sister and your parent, that was like you took on more than anyone else in the family because there's this natural tendency. I
had never heard that.
But it makes sense in your head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I definitely feel like there's I've written it down a bunch of times of like someday I'm going to have an album or something or a book or something that's just called Third Kid Shit. And it's just all the shit that like the third kid, like Like it's the reason why I'm good with words. It's the reason why I'm a comedian. It's the reason why I learned at a very young age that if I want anyone to pay attention to me, and if I want to get a word in edgewise, I have to have perfect timing and be entertaining, because no one gives a shit what the third kid says.
Oh.
And now I'm like, well, now it's my superpower, and I can go on stage and I have great timing, and I can say, like, I realized, like, at a young age, like, oh, I'm really good at saying very inappropriate things at the exact right moment that it's just funny enough I can't get in trouble. And now I'm like, that's what I do on stage.
Well,
like, that's a version, you know. So it's like, now I look back and go, I wouldn't change it, because like you said, I do feel like everything happens for a reason in a way. And I think it's, I don't know if I believe in like everything's destined, but I feel like everything happened as exactly how it needed to for you to then learn the skill at some point later. Like to learn the lesson, maybe not the skill, but the lesson from it.
Yeah. And if we have, if we have others that have learned the lessons, guiding us.
Wouldn't that be nice? Where are those people?
Well, I think, you know, like we must have encountered some of them at some point in our lives.
At some
right?
point. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about the, you know, the phrase, your wound becomes your medicine, you know, like when the thing that you have to go through your like dark night, or even like the, you know, the things that you endure as a child or as a younger human is going to influence you later. And if you're able to alchemize it, and then it becomes, you know, like your skill or your strong set, and like you can advise, like you can see it in someone else. And you can't decide whether or not they're going to be ready to hear it, but you can like plant the mustard seed. Sometimes that's all that
There's
you
a
can
lot,
do.
like planting seeds. I think that is so big, especially with kids. And like in your, like you don't necessarily want your own children, but I've definitely come to realize that, like, as far as having people in our lives with those skills to mentor or teach or plant the seeds, I've realized that, like, one, the village that we have lost in this, in what I feel like in, I don't know about the rest of the world, but I feel like we've lost the village in this country. Because it does take a village, because you need, like, the power of an aunt and uncle is so strong in a child, because you're not the parent. We don't have all the baggage from last night's cry. We don't have the baggage from your report card. We don't have the baggage from, I had a bad day at work and I came home and I snapped at you and you didn't deserve it, but you're the kid and da-da-da-da. I'm just the uncle that shows up, like, you know, hopefully more than just Christmas or something, but that's the uncle and be like, hey man, hey, you're never in trouble with me, bro, but you're fucking up. And that's something where, like, I feel like on our street, actually, this little village that we've created that we kind of do call the village, like, we have that. There's like 6 boys. There's a couple of girls. They're all in the ages of between 5 and like 12. And I do it. I'm like, I'm Uncle James. And I love it, because there are times when like the kids and the dad and the parent, you know, whatever, and the kid feels bad about something, and I'll pull him aside and be like, hey, or I see him do something, and we're all cool with it. The parents are all cool with, like, each other, kind of like, we can parent my kid, like, don't hit my kid. Nobody should hit anybody's kid. But, like, you know, you see something, hey, that's not how we do that. Like, you know, but it's been interesting, because I've had those moments with, like, there's a couple of them that are very emotional, and they cannot handle any type of criticism. But I'll pull them aside and be like, hey, like it's weird. It's a look like, hey. And I'm like, hey, again, you're never in trouble with me. It's not a thing of trouble. But if you're screwing up, I'm going to tell you. I think that's not how you should have done that. I
think it's so important to teach accountability young, because there's so many adults that don't take accountability for their actions.
I'd like to think I take accountability for my actions, but I will tell you this, it is still very hard. It is still very hard to apologize sometimes. And
why?
I don't know. And it's funny, and I realized that because I was teaching it to my daughter like a week ago, and I was like, hey, just say I'm sorry. Did you do that? Yeah. Should you have done that? No. Just say I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. And she's like, and I'm like, yeah, this shit's hard. Mm-hmm. Why it's hard? I don't know, but it can be.
I was in a relationship with a man once who like refused to say that he was sorry. Even he would be like, I know that you deserve to hear that. I just can't say it. And I'm like, why do you think you have like a finite amount of I'm sorry? It's like, it's not that
like,
hard.
Listen, I'm running low. What is that though? Because it's so weird in relationship to me. Like I found myself younger in relationships where, and even like my first marriage and stuff, and I'm sure even at my second marriage and whatever, what that means is like all my relationships, where there are times when the exact thing I know I should say, I just can't. I just can't. Until, what's funny is this is like a time, I don't know if it's a timing thing or what, but like there'll be like that moment where you're in an argument or something, and then it's the silence, and I know it's my turn to say the thing. And I know what I should be saying, and I'm not saying it. And time is going on, and I'm not saying it, and I'm not saying it, and I'm not saying it. And then the other person is so frustrated that I'm not saying what I should probably be saying that they start talking, and that's the exact moment when I was going to say it. And I'm like, are you just not saying it till they do a thing so you don't have, like, I've caught myself there a number of times, and it's not healthy, and it's not healthy for this person that I care about. That's the worst part, is I'm in love with this person and I want them to be nothing. I am not a malicious person. I'm not going to say I've never said a malicious thing. Like I've never had the malicious, like I'm sure I have said things to hurt somebody, but it's been very few and far between. Now, I am sure I have said things that have hurt people without the intent of hurting them because of my own ignorance and stupidity and lack of awareness in a moment. Oh, why did I go down that path? But it's even when in those moments, there's part of me that's like, of course I didn't mean that like that. Like that's so hard. I think that's one thing that I've learned about myself is like, if anything's coming at me with malicious intent, if the sentence you said was designed to hurt me, I can't, this is not okay. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not okay to the point where like, I don't know if I can even be here anymore because I just don't identify with that at all. I think like growing up, and I don't know if it was like a youngest kid thing again with like family, there was like my brothers used to fight a lot. There was just, they've just always been head to head. They're both intelligent. They're both capable. And I just think there was just, I don't know why that dynamic was there, but it was there. And so I would see hurtfulness happen on purpose because of anger. Mm-hmm. And I think I drew a line at like, that's not, why would it, like, what the fuck? None of this matters. What do you guys fight? Like, what is anyone fighting about? Why is anyone trying to hurt anybody? Like you point out, like, do you know what's going on the planet? Do you know how shitty things are for most people on the planet? And you guys are arguing about this, or you know, we're fighting in a relationship about something when there's starving people. Like, I don't know if it's like the whole picture, but I'm just like, I don't get malicious. I don't know how I got here, but my brain just kept going. So I just kept talking.
You were talking about like the need for some sort of catalyst to be able to say the thing that
I'm supposed to say, which is the apology that is so hard to say. Do you think that's a male thing? Do you think that's more in men too, or is that men and women from your experience?
It's both, but perhaps, you know, like the not wanting to be wrong thing. Yeah. Maybe I've seen that more in men. I don't know. I haven't like done a study. So no. But I would say that I think that a lot of people don't want to be wrong. So much so that they'll be willing to like deny facts that are presented to them as truth and facts, and like very like
clear, tangible facts.
Thank you. It's like very clear and tangible that this is true and real, and they are unwilling to accept it and change because then that would mean that they were wrong, and maybe them being wrong made them make other decisions and have other behavior that they then have to re-examine. Like I actually think about this all the time because I think about cognitive dissonance. Are you familiar with that? Yeah. So cognitive dissonance is just like receiving two contradictory pieces of information and having to accept them, right? Or accepting one for a very long period of time and then getting
while knowing the other's there. The other exists.
Well, what I was going to say is more of like, you know, this for like, let's say your whole life you've been told this. And then all of a sudden there's this new piece of information that contradicts that. But it's like verifiable. It's like pretty easy to see, like that's the thing. But it means that you have to deny that thing that you've accepted your whole life.
Right. And this thing has been a brick in your wall your entire life.
Who knows what kinds of things you've done because of that brick.
Mm-hmm. And what I love about that is like, and this is something I tried to talk about with my stepdaughters who are now like graduating high school, of like, hey, you need to get as far away from home as possible because you just graduated high school. Like I tried to get one to like move here from Florida. I was like, like at least for a summer. I was like, you live at home, you're 18. Do you realize that every brick in your wall, everyone else put? You didn't build these walls. Yeah. This whole structure that's you didn't build. They told you, and that goes for all of us. They told everyone, all the theys, told us who we were from the beginning. From the beginning of your consciousness, other people put bricks. And that's why like I look at like old people in politics and stuff. I'm like, yeah, guess what? Old people, they're not going to change much. Of course. But like, I don't expect someone's 85-year-old grandma to change her views, because guess what? Her entire life, whether it was her religion or her grandma or whatever, like, and even younger people, like people grew up, and this has to do with everything. You pick any topic on the political spectrum, and it's like there is somebody who grew up with the most wonderful grandma in the world, and she was sweet and she was kind, and she did the nicest things for her community and her church and her people and all these things. And if I disagree with this thing that my grandma told me my whole life, now I have to question whether my grandma was a good person.
Mm-hmm. Well, isn't that interesting that we're, like the dichotomy, you're a good person, you're a bad person.
Which doesn't,
there's even that to think about, like that's someone else's brick. That's not my brick.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. What's good and bad,
Yeah. I don't know if you feel similarly. I care so much about the truth that like I'm willing to go through the discomfort of cognitive dissonance, even if that means like sitting there. Like when I go through it, like my brain is just like I sit there and I'm like, it's like a computer program trying to like,
the little things just turning, processing.
Like I have gone through that many, many moments in my life. And like I'm willing to go through that in order to be in a more truthful space, because like truth, honesty, like that, authenticity, that's very, very important to me. I'm very, very willing to change. I'm very willing to change my mind. I'm very willing to admit that I was wrong about something. And I don't want to say that I've always been that way. Like there's definitely been like some dogmatic ways that I have, emitted into the universe, and now I'm like, ooh, I definitely don't feel that way anymore. And that's not, I can see why I did.
Yeah.
Like it's very clear, like there was this piece of information that I was given, but ultimately there was this amount of information, and that was like this tiny little piece. But I think that I care so much about that. And so when I see someone else that is refusing, like just refuses to accept new information, even with the evidence, like that just doesn't make sense to me. And it's not that it doesn't make sense, like, oh no, I get like psychologically, emotionally, etc. Like I can understand.
It's hard.
I can understand why, but it still just like doesn't make sense to me because it's not how I operate.
Don't you want to be the highest level you could be, like your highest level of consciousness, your highest level of compassion and empathy and all the, because I think it all is that, right? I mean, right? I don't know. But like, that's how I feel. Yeah, like hug the tree. It all comes back to like you being able to accept some new piece of information and adjusting your path.
Adaptability, I think. Like, isn't that the thing that they say, like, that those that survive are the most adaptable?
Yeah, it's evolution.
And so I don't think that everybody wants to evolve. I don't think that everybody wants
evolving
to.
is pain. Evolving is discomfort. The tree that grows, that has to lean way out, has to work harder to hold itself up to get to the sunshine, right? So it's like, it is hard. Growth is hard. Yeah. Growth is, you have to fail to grow. You have to make mistakes to learn. You have, it sounds weird, but like, yeah, suffering is the way. Discomfort,
right? Like sometimes it is suffering. I think that the discomfort of living a lie is so much greater for me than the discomfort of change.
But that takes the emotional intelligence to understand that this too shall pass, and there will be another side, where I think a lot of people, where the emotional intelligence just cram down and just get through it, don't express, don't emote, don't even feel, like just sweep it under the rug, wake up tomorrow and keep going like this thing didn't even happen.
I think that's why it's so important to have safe spaces and,
what do you mean by that, though?
Well, even just like we were talking about, like you mentioned it first, that like Tiger was just a safe space. You could just go and be yourself, whatever that meant, like having safe spaces where you can just go and be yourself, even when it's messy. Like having, like, sure, yes, an environment. Like maybe you just go to the woods and that's where you feel safe enough to like strip to your naked self. Other than your Vibrams, and then, run through the forest and be yourself and just like allow whatever spurs you to move you, right? And then there's also like my partner, like he's a safe space. I can go and like be my messy, snotty self, and he's like, I love you. This is okay, you know, like this is totally okay. And then also having, I think it is important to have elders, right? Like I had someone, she passed several years ago, but my friend Paulette, she was this like wise woman, that taught me to look in the mirror and say, I love you until I meant it.
Until I meant it.
Ooh. And she taught me so much just because she was willing to. I mean, I was just, some young person. I wasn't even that young. I was like in my 20s, which is still,
is still young.
But like, I felt like I was like a little kid around her because she just, she carried herself in a very authentic, mature way.
How much older was she? If you were 20 something, she was
in her 40s or early 50s. I can't remember for sure. But she just allowed me to be the younger person in the equation in a really beautiful way that I felt safe. It was like, oh, I can be vulnerable. I can, I can let this person take care of me to a degree. Like I feel like we need to feel that in order to grow.
And before that, you felt like a burden.
Yeah.
If you ever let somebody take care of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a simplistic way of putting it, but that is definitely something that I felt. Yeah. And so I think that we need safe spaces to be able to be vulnerable, to be uncomfortable, and then to still receive the encouragement to keep doing it anyway. And I think the more that I am willing to be that kind of a human and then treat others based on, that agreement with myself, the more maybe others will say to themselves like, oh, like it's okay to feel. It's okay to be wrong. It's important to hold yourself accountable. It's okay to be vulnerable when it's safe to.
Yeah. And it would be safer more often if more people would be vulnerable.
Totally.
And I think that's like because I think there's definitely right now the term safe space has been so politicized. I think where there's, you talk about some people look at safe spaces and that's a space where only a certain group of people can be and speak, which makes sense because that's where those people can be vulnerable and open and that. While also, I think there's the idea of a safe space of where a group of reasonable people can be in a space that are all very different and can be vulnerable. And I think there's something of like, it's like, if you like, there should be a sign on a door that says, if you walk through this door, you're admitting that you're ignorant. And then once you're inside, everyone here is an idiot. But we all also have some information. And we should share all of this information, the good, the bad, because we don't know which is which. And if we share and learn from each other, then we will all leave this room less ignorant.
I like that.
Let's just start putting rooms everywhere that just have the sign that says ignorance here.
Yeah. Well, I think, like what a like a humble acceptance to walk through that kind of a door, to just be like, yeah, I'm willing to admit that I don't know a lot of things, but I also am admitting that there are things that I have to share that are worthwhile, so it's not an extreme. It's like accepting the truth and then honoring yourself and respecting others and then growing. And
also honoring that like unless it's something where like 1 + 1 = 2, but like my truth is based on my experience and the bricks other people have put in and the ones I've left in the walls and the ones that I've removed, as well as my truth and your truth are not going to be the same when it comes to relationships, when it comes to cats. Some people are like, cats, like, you know what? They're the cutest things. And they're little fur balls of love. And you're like, yeah, but they also will fuck you up. Like they're both right, but it's two different things. And that's where, like you said, walking and being like, I'm open to your truth. I'm open to their truth and their truth. And as long as everyone's open to my truth also, and we can discuss these, then we're going to leave here with a higher level of consciousness, group consciousness. The group mind will be stronger. Because it's more, again, empathy, emotional intelligence, awareness, just love.
Yeah. Well, and it's like the roots of the trees and the mycelial network too, right?
We're all connected again. Look at that. We're all just a forest. Yeah. And we need to put our roots down.
Yeah. Well, and connect. And the things that are safe to us can change in any given moment, right? Like if I'm having a panic attack, safety is very different than like when I'm having a fantastic day and I'm going out with my friends and I'm like eating nice food. It's like if I'm having a panic attack, there's like very, very few things that feel safe, and those are like extremes, but like there's things in the middle, like
what is a good touchstone for you when you're having a panic attack? What is a safe thing for you? Does that happen often?
Not now. There was a period of time where I was having some like complex PTSD, where essentially that just means like you've been exposed to traumatic events repeatedly, and so there was a period of time, and that was like right around, before I found, the comedy scene and
a good laugh helps.
Yeah, it definitely did. But I was experiencing it a lot, and I was so dedicated to feeling better that like I looked into many, many, many things, even though it was very hard to do so. But I think that like now when something like that happens, I think of my senses, like where are my feet, where are my hands? Because if I can at the very least like acknowledge that I'm here, like I have some tools in my tool belt with like breathing and whatnot, but like acknowledging like, okay, I can feel this. And someone taught me to like describe the things that your senses are experiencing. Because
sounds like a very grounding. Like
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Getting yourself right back to this moment.
Yeah. And like it doesn't necessarily make the sting go away, but maybe it just brings me back into reality enough. So, maybe I would just see like where are my feet? Where are my hands? And then maybe I would say like, I like the way that this couch feels, the texture of it. The couch is, like it looks kind of like it's gray, but it's got several different variations of that. And then I would say, like the wall is a deep blue and there's bumps, around, like the more descriptive you can be, the more it takes you into the present and like that grounded space. So is that what you meant by touchstone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great. I've only had a few, and honestly, I was not equipped. And it was one of them ended up with like a call for I thought I was having a heart attack.
That's what it feels like, right? I mean, as far as I know.
It took one of the most handsome firemen I've ever seen in my life to sit next to me on a bed. There was like 5 firemen in the room. My wife's standing there looking up. Like I woke her up at like 2:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm so sorry to wake you up, but I think I'm dying. I can't. And I just started losing it. And I was like, I need you to call 911. And they came, and there's like 5 firemen in the room. My wife's standing there in her robe, and this guy's just sitting on the bed next to me. And he's literally like, I think he actually had his hand on my chest, and he was just like, breathe with me. And he just brought me back. And I was terrified. I knew there was a baby on the way. And that terrified me because it was this moment of like, I'm never going to meet my child. And I felt like I was leaving. There was like all these things that kind of added up of like, how, you're not healthy. You're not taking care of yourself. You're going to be, this sounds fucked up, but like my dad wasn't healthy. My dad didn't take care of himself. My dad died of cancer at like 59. And I was like 36 when this happened. And it was like, it was the first time, like, if I'm using this right, like the finiteness of life of like, you're fucking up, dude. Like whatever got you to this. And is this your heart giving up? Is this your body giving up? Are you fucking eating and there was like, I've been through times where like, there's been lots of negative talk. So, and I've been holding it back just now but I'll fucking say it, where I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. Like, why aren't you taking care of yourself? Why are you why have you been eating like you have, and you don't exercise, and your dad did all these things, and why aren't you fucking worth it? Like, there's a fucking kid that's like growing. And you're not going to fucking meet your kid. You're about to die. Like, I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
And it was fucking so fucking terrifying. And I wish I could say that like, oh, that changed my life forever. And the next day I walked every day, and I've been working out, and I've been eating healthy, and I don't eat sugar, and da-da-da-da-da. No, none of that. Some of it, sometimes better than others. Trending in the right directions. But it was such a fucking moment. And I thought it was over. And then I found out, it's just stress. You were fine. You were fucking fine. You weren't fine, but you weren't actually dying. But part of me was like, that was a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, now. I think it's really, it's really important to acknowledge, like, we don't have to think that in those shitty moments.
No.
Like, when we're going through it, we don't have to be like, everything happens for a reason. We can, like, I mean,
I'll know what this means later.
Like, I mean, I do think that I have held that for so long that so it's like, it's there, but I don't need to fucking go there right now. I can just be like, this is horrible. I'm gonna need some help. You know, like, that's the priority in the moment of it. There's this woman, Sarah Baldwin, who does, like, she's a somatic experiencing practitioner. Have you heard of somatic?
Never heard of this.
So somatic experiencing is essentially like, somatic is like of the body, right? So remember earlier I talked about the body keeps the score. So it's essentially like teaching our body that it can like let go of the stuff, right? So somatic experiencing therapy was like one of the most helpful tools and support that I received when I was going through it. And it's almost like it completes the cycle. That's kind of like, so if you think of our nervous system, and this is so simplistic, but it's just like a good visual. If you think of our nervous system as like, here's homeostasis, and then like the sympathetic response is like the fight or flight, right?
Okay.
You know, like the activated, like get up and do something, right? And then the parasympathetic is like, you can chill, you can relax, the rest, right? So if you see like an animal when they're like, oh gosh, something's going on, you know, they move over here, but then they shake it off. And then they come back to center, right? Like you've seen them, you know, whatever. Humans have this fun thing where we don't shake it off. It just gets stored in our body. I mean, that's not like indicative of humanness. I think it's just indicative of the world that we live in and like not having the support and like the elders that can like guide us through the stuff. Right? Yeah. But over time, what ends up happening is, you know, so you get a traumatic event and then you kind of come back over here, but you don't fully get that swing. So then the next time it happens, it goes a little bit further and you don't fully get that swing. And so then if a little thing happens, it sends you way up here.
It's the full trigger.
Exactly. You know, so that's like kind of like the panic attack. It's because your body believes that there's a tiger. And it's like, you know, it's like clearly not a tiger, but your body believes it is because of the cues that it has remembered from past situations. And so Sarah Baldwin says, your body makes sense. You make sense. Your body is literally doing everything that it can to protect you in those moments. And that was I've only learned about her recently, but that was a really cool reframing of, you know, a panic attack or like the trauma response in my brain. It's like, oh, this isn't happening because there's something wrong with me. This is happening because my body knows how to protect me and is always going to, you know, choose that and prioritize that over everything else. And so it's more about acknowledging like, oh, there are things in my life that aren't working. There are things in my life maybe that don't make sense, but my body makes sense. I make sense.
Yeah, it's taking care of itself right now.
Yeah.
Because is that the version of shaking it out? Is the panic attack? Like, yes, it is there, but like, can you die from a panic attack? Like, or is it like, no, eventually you just hyperventilate, pass out, and like if we're talking back, you know, I don't know, if you just weren't around people or you were just like, you know, 200 years ago, I don't know, were people having panic attacks 200 years ago?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting to find out. Like when we were tribal people, was anyone having a panic attack, or was the village strong enough that like everyone was supportive in a way? You wonder.
I wonder too.
But I did like, yeah, what happened? Like, do you just kind of wake up after passing out from a panic attack?
I don't think that a panic attack can kill you. I think repeated panic attacks can put your body into such a traumatized state that it is operating in like constant fight or flight, which means that
the stress,
it means that your digestive system isn't going to work. It means that all the other systems are going to be like, we don't need to deal with that right now.
Yeah, because there's a tiger all the time. Because there's always a tiger.
Yeah, and that's no way to live. No, that's definitely not a way to live. So you were saying, is the panic attack like the shake? No, I don't think so. I think the shake is like something happens and you scream about it, you know, and you feel heard, and
a good cry.
You laugh, you know, and you cry, and then it turns into laugh, you know, like I think that's maybe could be an equivalent. I think the panic attack is like it's the body being stuck. It's the mind being stuck in a traumatized space and just like not receiving the proper support, and it just needs the evidence. I think it needs like the tangible evidence. So that's why doing something like this, you can't do this if a tiger's coming for you.
It's a very soft tiger.
Yeah,
the colors of the tiger are black, and look at very large teeth I feel on the tiger. The tiger's biting me. I can feel that. That's very
yeah, exactly. Like you can't, like if you're able to like really appreciate the art that's on the wall, or the color of the sky, or the way that, you know, the wind just felt on your face, like that's information for your body and your brain that like, oh, you're probably okay.
Which almost sounds meditative in a way, because that's really what meditation is. When it's like I meditate every morning, and it's very much like just follow the breath. And then also be aware, like I do a guided one just because I like it, because it kind of pulls me back, because my brain does run. But it's like, okay, you know, just if you caught yourself thinking, that's fine. Acknowledge the thought, come back to the breath, in, out, follow the breath. Now, what do you your eyes closed, what do you hear? And just acknowledge every noise as soon as you hear it, and then the next noise and the next noise. And it's not like, oh, I heard the car door shut because there's a car. No, it's I heard a car door. I heard a bird. I heard a chirp over here. Somebody closed that. Like, it's like the instant of each, not this is a thing. Now go down a thought tangent, So it's very much right here.
The presence.
The present. It's bringing you right back to this moment, to the body, to the breath, to that thing. Yeah. Which is the touchstone, which is the bringing it all back to center.
Yeah. So if you think about it, like, let's say you had a traumatic experience, and it doesn't even have to be like an awful thing, but just like maybe somebody said something to you, right? And like it hurt you, but they didn't know that. Or maybe they did, whatever. But it's maybe that spurred something for you, right? And then that person comes into the room and they're just there, that's enough. Yeah, but that could be enough, right? Yeah. But so we're no longer in the present moment where that person's not threatening us or humiliating us or criticizing us or abandoning us or punishing us. Like, none of that's actually happening, but their presence, maybe that's not the right word because we're talking about presence, their being here-ness.
Yeah, we got it.
It's triggering something from the past. So when we move into that, hypervigilant state, we're actually not present because we're relying on past information that might not be appropriate for the present. Sometimes it is, though, right? If there is a predator,
right,
or if there is, a human predator, like somebody that has physically caused harm or that potentially,
or even discomfort, just anything. I remember it was an interesting moment that it's weird. Sounds weird. I was proud of you. We were sitting on a couch at one of Connor's parties, and after one of the shows, and we were sitting there talking. And there was like people coming and going, and there's like comedians from different places and da-da-da-da. And I don't know if somebody was leaving or got there, but they walked in and they were like saying, I can't remember where they walked in, the front door, it doesn't matter, the kitchen. And they were saying hi to everyone, or bye, it doesn't matter. And they were like saying bye to people, and they hugged somebody, and they turned and tried to hug you. And you kind of like put a hand out and said, I'm not comfortable hugging. And I was like, badass. And it was something where like, and I'm sure I have a different experience of all these things just as a man and whatever. And this was a man to you. And he was like, oh, okay. And he like shook your hand, and he mocked it. He mocked the situation. It was like, oh, okay. And he left, and I was like, and I kind of asked you like, what was that about? And you're like, I don't like hugging that guy. And I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, I don't like that guy's vibe. I don't like hugging that guy. And I was like, all right. Like, cause I also like, I put myself in the thing. Well, one, and I don't know if it was because he's a guy and you're a woman and just how you felt or what position he's put you in before. But like, I'm the person that most of my life have been like, I'll handle discomfort because I don't want to make things awkward. I've always been that guy. Yeah, we know. You're digging awkward. I've gotten better at awkward. But I think that was like, again, like youngest kid shit of like, there's so much chaos going on up here that like, I'll just take the harm. I'll just take the thing because I don't want to create more conflict.
And I'm sure I've done that so many times when I wish I wouldn't. I think like, again, that was during.
You mean hugged or not hugged?
Hugged or done the thing, done the thing that will make other people comfortable.
Right.
Instead of myself. Yeah. So I remember that, but I don't remember who it was or why I didn't want to hug him. I just knew I didn't want to.
I can't see who it was either.
Yeah.
But I have that has been a memory of like my shared with you is like under your file, like that's been in there of like badass.
Thank you.
It was just like this beautiful moment.
I'm sure it was really helpful in that moment for you as a man and a new man that I didn't really know.
Yeah, we didn't really know each other well. Yeah. I mean, we were like acquaintances. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure it was helpful to integrate, like, that was good for you to do. Like, I'm sure that was helpful that you came and you acknowledged that happened, and you know, you probably said that's badass, you know, or like something equivalent, and that probably helped like ground it into my body to know, like, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, well, you showed me that you're allowed to do that. That you helped me. I hope if it gave anything back to you, that's awesome. But I'm selfishly being like, you can do that?
You can totally do that.
You can do that?
It's like, I was going through a time there and I did not feel comfortable around men, especially, I mean, I didn't feel comfortable around a lot of humans, but like, I especially did not feel comfortable around men and men that I didn't know. And so to even like be putting myself in the environment of, you know, at Connor's house, there's like tons
which
of
is
people.
a chaos. It's a chaos environment of comedians and comedians' friends and people coming and going and loud music and loud conversations like that. I remember going to those parties and being like, I definitely have a time limit on how long I can be in this room.
Well, do you remember where I often was at those parties?
No, you're gonna have to, because in my mind we were either sitting. I don't know how many I went to, but in my mind I was sitting next to you or Jordan.
I was almost always on the couch with Luna, Austin's cat. Like, I remember first time I went over, I was like, there's a cat. And so she became my best friend. And so, like, she was my space of safety. Every time I would come over, like, she was my priority. Like, yeah, I was excited to hang out with, like, some of my new friends or whatever. But I was like, I'm here for the cat.
I'm here for the,
yeah. So I think that there's something like, okay, I'm going to put myself in this situation that's kind of uncomfortable for me given my current circumstances of feelings, but I'm going to make it as comfortable as possible. So I'm going to sit next to the cat.
Yeah.
If someone wants to come and talk to me, they're going to have to talk about the cat too, because she's here.
Yeah. The cat's happening.
You know, like, yeah. So I think there's that, like, when we're ready to like move into those spaces, we're allowed to have boundaries. We're allowed to have like the standards and expectations.
Boundaries.
Like, yeah, boundaries are really important.
When did you learn about boundaries?
Not soon enough.
Nope.
No. I don't know. 6 years ago.
Yeah,
you
right.
Know, like,
yeah,
really
that's about how it feels.
When did I like fully integrate that I was allowed to have boundaries? Still working on it.
Yeah.
But I would say like probably like 4 or 5 years ago is when it started to be like, I can do this. And I've lost a lot of relationships from having boundaries. And
do you miss those relationships?
So I was having a conversation with myself about this the other day, or maybe yesterday.
I love that sentence.
You know,
I was having a conversation with myself, and I said, "Self."
Well,
how do you feel about our boundaries, self?
Well, I was thinking about like several relationships that were very close. You know, like friendships, like with women that abruptly ended, and the reason they ended was appropriate. But I had kind of moved into a space of going like, well, I don't even miss them, because why would I, when they, you know, treated me this way, or they, you know, weren't okay with my boundaries or my like very, very simple standards, whatever it was, you know, or they didn't make me feel safe anymore, or I realized that they never made me feel safe, you know. And I think it was yesterday when I was on that walk, or, you know, within the last few days, I was thinking, but you know what? It sucks. Because do I miss them? Not necessarily, but like there was a lot of good. There was a lot of good. And I think that sometimes because there's all of this good or perceived good. Air quotes, then we stay in situations, or we hug when we don't want to, et cetera, et cetera. And then we like, I don't know, maybe like a small part of us dies. Or a small part of us doesn't feel heard, or like can't fully express itself because we're accepting something. I mean, this is not to say that like compromise, isn't a beautiful thing. Like compromise is beautiful.
Yeah.
But compromise is after you have your standards met, you know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Boundaries are respected. And then
established.
Like, exactly. You know, and I think that I do miss having some of those close relationships, but I'm not like longing for a return or a rekindling of any of those relationships, because I think there was a point in my life where I constantly, went back to friendships and relationships because I was like,
because the good, you wanted some more of the good,
or because like I was codependent, so there's that too, and now I'm like so much more willing to let go of things that are not actually contributing to me feeling okay and safe in my life and relationship with them. Like if that's not present, I can't be myself. If I can't be myself, then how can I have an authentic relationship? And then how can I grow? How can we grow together? Like it's just not possible. So is there the sadness? Yeah. Am I willing to face that sadness in order to be like my most authentic self? Fuck yeah. Like that's way more important to me than...
there's way more important to you than yeah. I'm saying this because I'm guessing I think I know the answer, but like I feel like I'm my authentic self, but it's not easy. Like are there definitely days where you're struggling to be your authentic self, and days where it's like easier? And I guess I put it this way, like I feel like there's days that I just put the show on, and I think my life is getting to a point where I put the show on less often than more often. But I think the majority of my life was performance. Because again, I'm just like, I'm not adding to the conflict. There's so like, I just can't. I've for the most of my life up until recently, I have been very non-confrontational because I think there was so much confrontation everywhere above me and around me that I'm like, I'm not adding to the, like, I'm doing everything I can to get this to stop.
Yeah.
I'm not adding again, I'll take the abuse over adding to the confrontation. And so I think I said it to, I don't know, I forget who I said it to, but I know I've said it before of like, it's funny that I'm a comedian now where you go on stage and you perform and then they give you a 2-minute light to tell you to when to get off stage. And then I would look back at my life and I'd be like, I've been performing. I've been waiting for the light for like 35 years because it feels like most of my existence has been a version of performance to make everyone else happy. And I know I still struggle with that now because I am a performer, and now I'm in some professional capacity a performer, and I do commercial work, and I have like an employer that's a corporate company, and I don't want to mess that up, and I don't want to say, we're in a very politicized world and a very thing of like, you say the wrong thing, you could lose your job, and losing, part of me is like, before, kid, fuck it. I wish I actually was that more of like, fuck it, I'm gonna be me. Everyone can kiss my ass. You either like it or you don't. And now I'm like, there's a kid here and the kid needs to eat, and I can live in a van. I don't give a shit. I'll live in a van and tell jokes. That sounds like an amazing existence, but my kid needs more than a van, and that's scary because then I catch myself on this thing of like, where do I hold back? Where am I censoring myself and my authentic self because of the fear of losing the stability, of losing the financial stability that like I have found these past 2 years is pretty, to provide for my daughter. And what if that goes away tomorrow? What about this kid? And like, is it, again, I'll take the damage for me, because now there's this kid here too, where before I would just do it just for other people, but now I'm like, now I got to protect this living, precious, amazing human that I'm trying to raise to take over the world, and it's another level of fear of, am I gonna piss people off? Am I gonna make a comment on this podcast about even I caught myself, I thought of it earlier when I was talking about like, oh, it's like somebody's grandma and she's the sweetest lady and blah, blah, blah. And she's religious. And it's like, well, you just touch religion. 50% of the population or some number, 50, whatever, is religious. And as soon as you mention religion, like that's like on stage, it's a thing. Like I don't talk about religion on stage because one, I don't have enough information about it. And I think there's enough other things to talk about besides things that are going to cut the audience in half. Like I look at my stand-up as like I'm the break from all that. For the time you were together, we're just going to talk about being people and not the things that if anyone's talking about it on the news, you're probably not going to hear it in my podcast or when I'm doing stand-up because I'm like, you're getting bombarded. You have enough people telling you what you should and shouldn't think. I'm going to just comment on the fact that we both probably pooped today, and isn't that a wonderful thing for some of us, depending on what we ate. And so it's just like, yeah, because we can all, but it's just, I don't know, again, where I was going, but
you were talking about authenticity, like where do you draw the line, right?
For me, yeah. And also, like, are some days still easier than others? Or do you find yourself some days, like, do you catch yourself? Or do you feel like you've done enough work and you've really pushed? And again, you're very comfortable with the uncomfortable, where you're like, nah, I'm pretty much like, fuck it. You're in or out, man. Like, what do you want?
I'm definitely not there. To some extent, I wish that I was there, just like nonchalant, but
of course.
It's not how I operate. Like I care so deeply about everything.
Yeah.
So it's not that. I think that there's different parameters for our authenticity. It's like, I feel very comfortable with you. Like we have a relationship. Yeah. So I felt, pretty comfortable going to different places in this podcast, right? If it's some stranger, maybe I don't say all the same things, if I'm at an art show, like, it also just has to do with where I'm at in that moment, like if I'm feeling yesterday, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I talked to my best friend. I talked to my partner, talked to my cat
and the tree.
And I think I had one conversation I was responsible for like being a part of. And then I was like, nothing else.
Yeah.
Because in order to be my authentic self, I would have had to be like, I feel sad.
Hey, guess what, everyone? Oh, you want to interact with me? Okay. I'm sad. Yeah.
Like when people say, hi, how are you? It's like,
let me tell you.
like sometimes I'll just, say the normal thing that people say, but sometimes I'll be like, well, pretty good, and also other things, or, like today was a hard day, like I think it just really depends. I think that sometimes I don't want to let everybody know what I'm experiencing in any given moment. Yeah. Also, sometimes like maybe I want to tell someone that I don't want to hug them, but I don't want to tell them why.
Nor do you have to. Like,
exactly. Yeah. But there's this like, like I feel like I have a lot more social interaction than, many years past, just because, like curating art shows and then also having a studio space where we allow people to come in and look at our stuff and have interactions with us.
While you work and stuff too, right?
Yeah. And then, like we go to gallery shows and like we're part of that, so there's like a lot more socializing than I'm far more introverted than I think people realize,
Yeah.
And so there are moments where I'm just like, I just want to sit in the corner and I wish there was a cat. Like honestly, I just like, that's what I wish was happening.
Yeah. Yep.
But I also want to create relationships with people, and like, like sometimes I go into those situations and I'll think like, I don't want to touch anybody. I'm going to like keep distance. I'll talk a little bit. And then I end up having like such amazing conversations. So adaptability again, right? It's like, we have to adapt in the moment. And I think one of the best ways of gauging, like how much authenticity do we show is like figuring out how to read our own body's cues and like paying attention to our own intuition, which I think is like super, super valuable.
And another skill you wish somebody taught you earlier.
Yeah. Just like how do you feel? What does I think our body is telling us cues all the time, right?
All the time.
You know, so it's like, are you listening to your body? Like if you feel awkward in your body around someone that you don't know, you don't necessarily need to like know exactly why. You just trust that in the moment.
Like they say, like if you feel like you're being watched, you're probably being watched because your body can sense it.
Totally.
So if you feel like you're uncomfortable around a person and they're giving you not even a weird vibe, not even a bad vibe, you're just in a thing of like, that's all you need to know. That's enough. That's a message.
And I think when we're coming out of like a traumatized space, it's important to find those spaces of safety and recognize what they feel like in the body. So again, when you were talking about like the presence, you know, it's like if we're in an environment that feels safe, okay, well, what does that feel like in the body? Like, how do you know that it's safe? Well, you know, like my heart feels calm, or like I feel like my breath is really easeful, slow, and full. Like there's lots of different factors and everybody's going to be different, but I'm sure there's some common threads, you know? And, you know, when I'm talking to this person and he brought up that thing, it did this in my stomach. What does that mean? You know, like I think so much is about just going back to the body, because the body doesn't lie. The body is telling you things all the time. And there's so many things that are telling us in society, in the world, in our relationships to disconnect from our body. Like, oh, I don't want to hug this person, but I just should. Whatever.
I don't want to be socially weird. I don't want to be the asshole. I don't want to be, no. Your body knows.
And so it's about learning the cues of the body, and it's about listening to it, and then like finding, I mean, that's a whole path in itself, is just like reconnecting with our bodies, and all sorts of stuff's going to come up.
Yeah.
You know, like we were talking about like the back pain, like when you start investigating where your pain's coming from, odds are you're going to have to deal with some emotions.
Right.
Probably repressed ones. Most likely they're from a while ago. You know, like that's just likely what's going to happen, because those are the kinds of things that influence our body in ways. And those are the kinds of things that we're told we're not supposed to experience or acknowledge. We're not even supposed to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is. And it's funny because it really all comes back to like, listen, right? And I think that goes for everything, whether it's your body, whether it's your emotions, whether it's another person, whether it's, you know, all the things. Like we should all probably be better listeners. Totally.
Earlier when you were talking about, you know, like having the conversation with your daughter, like, and this might work at her age, but I think like, you know, even as a younger child and growing into adulthood, there's this woman, Wapio, who runs the Matrona, which is like a holistic doula program and like midwifery program. And I was fortunate enough to meet her and do one of her trainings years ago. And she talked about how so much of her work was really just about sitting and listening to women. Like, because so much of what she learned about women and what they are going through in pregnancy and birth and postpartum and what they need during those times is by listening to women.
Right.
And she gave like, you know, a pretty solid, tool's not the right word, like, system. I can't think of the right word. But you know, someone's sharing their feelings with you and you say, I hear you. What else?
Yeah.
And then you listen to them. And again, I hear you. That's valid. That makes sense. What else? And if somebody just asks you, what else after saying the words, I hear you, like that is so powerful. So powerful.
And healing for the person.
Healing. Even, I think even especially when we're going through it. Like when like all we just need is someone to hear us.
I think I just read something or saw something about this not that long ago, where they were like, if you what else somebody until they have nothing left, you literally just gave them like the best. Like you just let them release it all. And that just made sense. Like, just like you said, like don't, and I know I'm bad. Like I want to solve problems. You got a problem? Like, you can solve this problem. I got ideas. Like we can say, oh, that's happening. You should do this. And it's like, it's not even what it's about.
Well, and like a cool little thing at the end you could do is how can I support you? Or what can I do to help?
Yeah.
So then again, it's giving agency and choice to the person that's going through it. And especially if it's like a traumatic thing, giving somebody choice and agency is like one of the best ways.
So empowering.
To give that back to them if that was taken from them in some context, So tell me more. How can I help you? I hear you. That makes so much sense. Like, that's so powerful. Like, all of my conversations with my best friend, like, that's what we're doing constantly, and sometimes there's the, like, we start saying the thing and then we're like, is it okay if I'm sharing this? Like, is it okay if I offer my perspective? And yes, please, give me your perspective.
Yeah. I feel that way with therapists sometimes where I'm like, no, fucking tell me what to do. And they're like, that's not really what I'm here for. I'm like, yes,
it is.
But this time I need it.
Yeah.
Wow, we've been kicking ass, by the way. We're at 2 hours, which I didn't even know.
I didn't know.
And there's
either.
a person that's like outside the door being like, hey, where the hell are you?
They can wait.
It's my voice coach. I got a voice lesson. Let me just say, please give me 10 more minutes. I'm finishing a podcast right now. I'm very sorry. Thank you. Okay. On all of that, I would love to touch on art because you're an artist.
Yes.
And so you take all of your experiences and your emotions and your feels and you put them into beautiful art. And what is this called? And we'll pull this off.
This is called
What is this called again? Like the style?
Hand embroidery is what I just,
Hand embroidery.
Hand embroidery. I embroider by hand. This one in particular is using one single thread. I cannot remember back then if I used sewing thread or if I used just one single thread of embroidery floss, because normally it's 6.
And so wait, everything here is one single thread.
One single.
There's no snips. Like this isn't
there's
one.
A snip.
Oh, okay. So
But
like this is one, this is one, or some. Or,
normally, embroidery is like embroidery floss comes in like 6, and they're like thicker than sewing thread. So it's like 6. So it's like I broke that apart, and so that way I could do all of the tiny fine details. And I don't know I think maybe I did something else with one thread prior to this, but after doing this, I was like, I can get a lot of detail. And so I've expanded a lot of my work since then, because I think I made this for you like 3 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
And so I do a lot of single thread, sewing thread specifically, because I just love going tiny, tiny detail for some reason, which is like the most tedious thing.
And it's so cool because I've seen like all your posts. Am I going to mess that up? Nope. I'll put it up after. I love seeing your posts of like the new pieces and the stuff. And like, I just love everything that you touch on. Why this? How'd you get into this?
Embroidery?
Yeah.
People have asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. I know that I was like interested. I really love texture. We'll go that route. I really love texture.
Okay.
And I think that textile work is just, I don't know, just calls to me in a different way. And I didn't feel super comfortable with drawing. I could draw whatever. I've gotten better definitely with practice. But I didn't I was not like, oh, well, I'll frame this and someone will want to give me money for it. And not that that's like the reason to make art, but like I was just never really impressed with it. But for some reason, the translation with the thread, I could just do things differently that like added a little something. And I think it was, I just tried it. I had been wanting to do it for a really long time because I had a childhood experience of cross stitch, and for whatever reason, I just didn't. And then when I finally did, I was like, this is so much fun. It's like that presence, that meditation. I used to have like a sitting meditation practice, and now I would say my embroidery is probably like.
It makes sense. You're meditation. So present, the fine detail, this all the motor skills of it, you're in it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How can people find your work? Look, if you want, just stare right into your cam and say, I'm me, and find me here.
I'll talk to you if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine too.
So I'm on Instagram at This Girl Hugs Trees. That's, I think, the only like media presence that I have. Well,
do you have a website or?
No.
So how do you do you only sell your work in person at shows?
Yes.
where do you have a regular one that or like, no, you have your shop. Do you want to like,
yeah. So, I have a studio. I share it with my partner. So half of it's his space, half of it's mine. We don't make the same art whatsoever. It's really fun to come in and see like the juxtaposition of it. And so that is in Barrio Logan. We call it Studio 9, Studio IX. San Diego on Instagram. And so we curate shows in there as well. So it's primarily our art. But every couple months we curate group art shows. We're doing a Twin Peaks one next month. So that's fun. And we have the space open on Saturdays usually. Sometimes other days we're working on being there more often, and we do a lot of pop-up events. So we collaborate with other people to do that. And yeah, so I'm always posting what we have going on there. So that's like the easiest way. But I do also do commissions, so like sometimes people will see my work and they're like, oh, I have this idea. And so, like having that kind of interaction. I have sold some stuff to people, that don't live here. So like that is possible. I just don't have it set up for them to do it in a way that doesn't require them having an interaction with me.
Got it.
And so
you would say like, definitely check out your Instagram because you post so many wonderful pictures of the stuff you're doing. And if somebody likes it, just hit you up and you'll make it work.
Yeah, just send me a direct message. I really appreciate the interaction that I get to have at, live in-person events. And I've thought about like creating a website where people could just buy and then I just send it to them. But I just have resisted it for this long because I just really appreciate the human interaction. And so I'm going to keep it that way for as long as I can, so yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming and sharing and bringing your wonderful, emotionally intelligent, kind, beautiful soul vibe. Thank you for sharing this with me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for wanting to talk to me. It's been so nice.
Yes, it has.